were emitted toward the wolf. It kept walking completely unfazed as it wasn't affected. It was then that it asked Bo if she hadn't noticed that it was blind. So far, none of their attacks have been able to do anything against the wolf. With that, it resumed its attack, but the samurai stepped in, blocking the strike with his swords. However, his strength was scarce, and he couldn't hold on for long. He ended up injured once again, spitting blood. Nevertheless, he managed to recover and land on his feet. Once together, they realize again that they are in danger. The immense barrage of blows heads their way, but this time they have no strength left, and they simply close their eyes. A thunderous sound is heard by everyone there. It made them open their eyes once again, for they had not been hit. It was the king standing before them now. To protect his subjects, he placed himself in the way, getting injured in the process. His body is covered in huge wounds. The wolf looks at him, slightly surprised to know he is still alive. Faced with this, it will ensure that this time he does not leave alive. The generals behind him say they are still able to fight, but the king remains there, protecting them. The samurai says they are his subordinates and that they also watched him grow. They cannot leave him behind. The king reinforces his order with even more conviction. Hearing him, the samurai asks for forgiveness as this is an order he cannot obey, and calls Bo to attack with him. But she shoots her friend in the head. This way, he falls to the ground, unconscious. Now the samurai is completely out of combat. It's not ideal, but she had to do it. The wizard appears there, saying that in the end, it happened. Bo wants to know what he means by that. The wizard asks if she has ever heard of Golem, the Demon King. She does not believe that this event is related to the legends. It is not a legend that anyone who accepts Golem's power undergoes a process of demonization, losing their rationality and becoming his pawn. To protect them, the king made this pact with Golem. With no other options, he does the unthinkable to save his own. The wolf's snout catches a characteristic scent. It is the same mysterious energy he sensed when Fenrir, his younger brother, took his place as leader. He didn't want to revisit these memories, but if he's correct, he needs to end this quickly. The wizard tells Bo to take care of the king's legacy. The future of the mushrooms will depend on her and the samurai. Hearing this, she wants to know what the wizard is going to do. As a final act of care, he will send the two far away from there. From the ground, structures similar to pills begin to emerge. They are surrounding the two mushrooms. That is a fungus that creates tunnels. With the tooth inside, it goes underground. The wizard served 3 generations of mushroom kings and wishes to accompany his king to the end. He is already very injured due to the attacks he suffered. In front of him, the wolf is determined. This time it prepares a devastating attack, one it hasn't used in combat yet. Even injured, the king remains ready to fight. With all its power, the wolf executes a strike worthy of a king. Its powerful hand advances to obliterate the mushroom. The shockwave spreads across the plain. This makes the wizard worry about the king. It has been a long time since the wolf needed to use this attack. However, its nostrils pick up a peculiar scent. It has no idea how this is possible. That peculiar magic is growing stronger. The king's body undergoes changes. He no longer looks like a mushroom. There are several eyes on his head, and his mouth is full of teeth. Tentacles emerge from his body in all directions. That is the form of the fallen Mushroom King. The demonization was complete. He extends one of his tentacles. It goes directly to where the Mushroom Wizard is. For him, it is an honor to become the king's strength. The tentacles completely envelop him, and they begin to absorb the old wizard's body. All that remained of him was the staff he used. At the top of the king's head is still his crown. His head begins to open, revealing something. The creature starts walking towards the wolf. Wherever he passes, he leaves a trail of corruption. Looking at him, the wolf starts growling. Then it kicked the creature's head with force. Indeed, it is the same feeling he had before, but this creature is very slow. He can simply tear it apart. This time, he strikes the face of the corrupted mushroom. He continues to fiercely attack his enemy. His speed is really advantageous in combat. His movements are too fast, and he believes this will be the end. Then he brought his hands together. Like a spear, he lunged toward the mushroom. It was his final move. He was getting closer and closer to the mushroom. Unexpectedly, it turned towards the wolf. Opening its large mouth, it began to inhale. A large amount of air was sucked in by it. It then released a great quantity of corrupted spores. The wolf saw that malicious mist. It made him have to abort his attack. He quickly stomped the ground to gain momentum, leaping away from the spore mist. His fur is resistant to magic. As long as he covers his snout and eyes, the spores pose no danger to him. But then he feels something wrong with his body. Cancerous mushrooms spread across one of his paws, consuming his life. It was the wound the samurai had left on him. Thinking quickly, he bit his paw. He tore it off from his body, avoiding the worst. He watches the paw on the ground, which still has mushrooms on it. To his surprise, that didn't stop the infection from spreading further. In response, he removed what was left of his arm. But the infection continued to spread even more throughout his body. Desperate, he calls for his master's help. She runs toward him to assist. The creature's condition leaves her in despair. They run toward each other, but the wolf is overtaken by mushrooms. Almost out of strength, he begs her to save him. Opening her bag, she asks him to return quickly inside. Immediately, he does so, retreating to a safe place. Inside, she can use her mana to heal him, and she promised to ask the guild leader for help in curing him. Looking in her bag, she notices something happening. Even inside, the wolf doesn't stop thrashing around. He thrashes more and more and she doesn't know what's happening. Her mana is decreasing uncontrollably, until her bag explodes with mushrooms flying everywhere. The wolf's body is completely taken over by the infection. There is nothing the beast tamer can do. She tries to approach him in tears, but she ends up losing consciousness. Her body falls to the ground. She can no longer fight. The priestess encloses her in a magical bubble, ensuring she is removed from the battlefield. The priestess strives to take everyone away from there. The corrupted mushroom notices what's happening. It then extends its tentacles toward the humans. In the face of the attack, the priestess does her best to defend herself. The sphere containing the beast tamer is almost caught by the Mushroom King. Before this could happen, the monster starts to catch fire. This saved the priestess at the last moment. Finally, the last one joined the battle. After his team was practically on the brink of death, he thought it would be nice to participate. The fire mage ordered everyone to head to the airship while he took care of the rest. He is confident that with him, things will be different. The priestess, who is native, wants to stay, but the mage insists that she take everyone out. Without much resistance, she obeys the man's order. As they ascend to the sky, the mage descends to fight. The creature observes that different human, while the mage, who must have seen everything, is not impressed. Once again, the corrupted mushroom begins the process of inhaling air. This time, it puts even more effort into it, sending a large volume of spores toward the mage. But there is a barrier completely surrounding him, extending beyond his body. When the spores touch it, they are immediately consumed by the fire magic. None of them managed to reach the mage. This left the mushroom surprised, as it was not the outcome it expected. One of its former servants is still there, the diamond mushroom. It sends its tentacles toward the creature, intending to absorb it. The poor diamond mushroom doesn't understand what is happening. Immediately, the corrupted mushroom starts pulling its servant toward it. Its strength is enough to pull it out of place. It flies directly to where the Mushroom King is. Its intention was not to absorb it, but to throw it directly at the fire mage. The small mushroom saw this and was incredulous at the strength of the corrupted one, who threw that massive creature into the air effortlessly. But it ended up speaking in the process, which made the shadow look at it. This made it anxious, as it doesn't want to attract the attention of this monstrosity. So it returned to imitating an ordinary mushroom. In response, the shadow completely ignores it once again. In the battle, the diamond mushroom advances dangerously toward the fire mage. Opening one of its hands, small sparks begin to emerge from it. A creature was summoned, and as it yawned, it asked why it was brought there. It was still waking up and seemed disoriented. Without introduction, the mage sent it toward the danger, causing it to scream in panic. Now aware of the situation, it says that this stupid human always summons it this way, with no prior warning or explanation. Powerful flames begin to envelop the diamond mushroom. It is already surrounded by the magic of that fire spirit. In response, she gives only one order: for it to be incinerated. The intensity of the flames increases drastically, consuming the mushroom. There is nothing it can do, and it continues to be incinerated. With this, she obtained 2 diamond mushroom eyes, excellent raw material for making magical items. With the task completed, the fire spirit says the human is too stupid and starts kicking his face. He makes her disappear. Her attack is effective, but the little one is too annoying. Behind him, a mass of corrupted mushrooms suddenly appears. The Mushroom King smiles in a terrifying manner. He had managed to climb up there by making mushrooms proliferate. Now closer, he leaped toward the fire mage. An opening appears in his abdomen. It reveals itself as a second mouth, enormous and ready to swallow the human in one gulp. Quickly, the mouth closes, swallowing the mage at once. With him inside, the corrupted mushroom falls to the ground. In the distance, the evil shadow just watches what's happening. Slowly, the monstrosity rises with a sinister look. It walks slowly across the battlefield. There is a lot of smoke in the area, and it believes it has won the fight. What it did not expect is that its interior would start swelling. It seems the mage is still alive. It looks at itself, apprehensive, while its body continues to swell from the inside. With its body trembling, it can no longer walk and tries to do something. But the swelling is already uncontrollable, larger than its body's original size. After enduring the pressure for a while, it explodes with its pieces flying everywhere. Amidst the viscera is the mage who used his phoenix rebirth technique, and next to him is the Mushroom King's crown. With the battle over, he grabs the object in his hands. The outcome of this battle is the diamond mushroom eyes and that crown. Even so, the tentacles still move from what remains of the body. The level 60 monster forced him to use his greatest trump card. He is relieved no one saw this. With his items in hand, he ascends to the sky, distancing himself from what remains of the mushroom. Looking down, he intends to eliminate any evidence of the battle. Up above, the sky twists as if a storm is brewing. Fiery stones begin to fall from the sky, like a meteor shower. All of this is being watched by the small mushroom, who is now truly anxious. Everything on the ground is completely destroyed and consumed by fire. The evil shadow sighs in disappointment. This was not the outcome it expected. Then, in the same mysterious manner it appeared, it left. Beside it is the mushroom, hoping it really has left. Alone, he nudges the piglet, saying she needs to wake up quickly so they can leave. She slowly opens her eyes. Having missed most of the battle, she doesn't know what happened. That's when they realize the meteor shower is happening. With their tiny feet, they try to flee the area. When they hit the ground, they produce explosions, and the impact wave from one of them throws them far away. He cannot understand how this is possible. There is no way they can escape something like this. Everywhere he looks in the sky, there are meteors falling. In response, the piglet bites his hat. Full of determination, she intends to save her friend. She immediately starts digging with all her strength. It doesn't take long before they are underground. Outside, destruction occurs and fire spreads across the landscape. The destruction appears relentless. The corrupted mushroom had no chance of winning the battle. The entire kingdom has now become a vast sea of fire. There is nothing in the area that can escape the fate of turning to ashes. The destruction spreads through the flames. Gradually, even the largest mushrooms ignite, turning into nothing but ashes. Everything is being destroyed. However, something happens from within the rock. Two balls of earth begin rolling down the slope. When they hit the ground, they start to crack from the impact. Inside each one of them were the mushroom and the piglet, who were almost cooked. Both are disoriented by what happened. The system notifies them that they have reached the Mushroom Kingdom. Immediately, both level up, having their lives restored. Now clear-headed, he contemplates all the destruction in terror. What was once colorful and full of life is now just a barren wasteland. With a single spell, the Fire Mage destroyed the entire kingdom. Even so, the piglet's stomach grows in hunger. It wasn't that the monsters were too weak, but rather that the humans were too powerful. As the piglet nudged him, he pushed her with one of his hands. The scene made him think about something. Even if he were the Mushroom King, it would still be useless against a powerful human. The system gives him another mission to find an evolutionary path in the Mushroom Kingdom. Desolate with everything he sees, he no longer wants to do missions. But the system reminds him that completing missions is the fastest way to become stronger. Seeing the message, he stands up. He looks at it thoughtfully. He no longer wants to evolve. Now he is determined. In response, the system asks what he desires. The small mushroom clenched his fist resolutely. He now wants to be a brave mushroom. Far from all the destruction, an object falls from the sky near a tree. It's the mushroom containing the samurai and the gunslinger. Once on the ground, the structure begins to open. Inside are the two of them, still very exhausted from the battle. The samurai tries to stand up, still coughing heavily. He had made a vow to serve the king until the day of his death, but now they no longer have a king to serve. Angry, he thinks about returning to their kingdom. In response, Bo slaps him on the face. Cage is still very troubled and doesn't know what to think. They are there because of the king's wish, and his sacrifice cannot have been in vain. But without the king, he doesn't know what to live for now. Furious, he punches the ground in frustration. They remain there in silence for a moment. They are still very weakened from the fight, and Bo goes to sit by the tree. She says that even if Cage wants to die, he should do so after they complete their mission. She blows the smoke from her cigar. Then she reaches into her pocket to take out an object. In her hand, there's something emitting a golden glow. They need to fulfill their king's last wish. It is the king's legacy. Whoever receives the recognition of the legacy will have the right to become king. That's what they should do from now on. Seeing that, Cage gathers the strength to stand. Bo is right, their mission is far from over. The two look to the horizon, hoping the future will bring them better days. Meanwhile, the small mushroom faces a problem. The system has encountered an error because monsters cannot change classes. He rides through the forest on the piglet, and the system continues displaying the same message. Tired of the repeated notification, he asks if the system can show the map because he wants to know how far they are from the beginner's village. The system then shows them their location. They have traveled for an entire day, and if the map is correct, they should arrive with one more day of travel. After that, the error message reappears. He says he will go to the village to take a look. He won't change classes, and the system could stop sending that message. Hearing this, the screen disappears from in front of him. The piglet keeps walking, feeling very hungry. But he is determined to try changing classes, and he says that if the piglet is hungry, he has plenty of stamina potions. He orders her to move at full speed, as they will soon arrive. At the source volcano, lava flows everywhere. Lava explosions happen constantly. They expel a lot of material that falls dangerously to the ground. Some small creatures there begin to flee the danger. The stones hit the ground hard. This causes part of their exterior to crack. They have a peculiar shape, as if they are liquid inside. Once on the ground, they start to tremble. In fact, they are monsters with lava bodies. With its huge jaws, one bites into a lava boulder and promptly swallows it as if it were a snack. Its body absorbs the material. This is a level 52 lavaconda. They eat lava and molten rocks to expand their bodies, excellent raw material for fire resistance. The snakes look to the sky as more rocks are expelled from the volcanoes. High above, the guild's airship flies. They are approaching the guild headquarters, located in the middle of that extreme environment. The incandescent stones do not hit the buildings as there is a protective barrier. It extends throughout the base, preventing anything hostile from entering. But the airship passes through it without difficulty. As it crosses the barrier, a sound alert echoes throughout the base. The ship is now properly docked. The wounded are being collected, and the fire mage is heading to what appears to be the main building. He takes a few steps to enter the huge hall. It looks like he is going to present himself to someone. This causes footsteps to be heard. The child is excited that he has already returned. Big brother Gilham has finally come back. Curious, he asks if the mage managed to retrieve what they wanted. This is Balin.